Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's going to be WWE SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and AEW Collision. Lots and lots of good stuff coming along. I can't wait to share it with you all. So sit back, relax, get your favorite beverage, and let's do this. So we start off with WWE SmackDown. Get a little recap video of Survivor Series. Then we get medical updates of Bronson Reed, Tanga Loa, and Jimmy Uso, who all suffered different injuries during the War Games match. I hope you get well soon, guys. It's going to be interesting to see how they come back. So then we cut to a couple of superstars arriving in the arena. You see Apollo Crews trying to get through security. Solo Sikoa kind of bumps through him. Apollo Crews is complaining a little bit to him. Eats a super kick from Jacob Fatu. Then the three of them, so that's Jacob, Solo, and Tama Tonga, all attack not only Crews, but throw security around. So, it does seem like the Bloodline are staying together. Or at least the New Blood is. So, then, cut to the arena for an in-ring Cody Rhodes promo, which, good to see the WWE champ here, where he says, at Saturday night's main event, it's going to be our showcase of our best talent. It's an honor of a lifetime just to compete at this event, but it's not that simple because of Kevin Owens. But before he can say more, out walks someone very, very interesting. It's Chad Gable, Brutus and Julius Creed, and Ivy Nile of American Made. So, he reveals that the transfer window has been opened. So, it does look like we are getting... Well, I'll explain it a little later. It says, I know these people, they're little simple-minded, but I'm here to speak the truths. When you first came back, I looked up to you. I can do that. It's not easy being a good friend like Kevin Owens. I know all about bad friends. And Otis did the same thing to me that you're doing to Kevin Owens. You are a bad friend. You're the definition of superficial. And you teamed with a guy who made Owens' life hell. And you deserve what's coming to you. Cody Rhodes replies, good point. You'll be my friend, right? I'm disappointed it's you. I see a lot of me in you. You've maximized your minutes. But you are also Shorty G, right? Oh, God. And then Cody continues, well, you're looking at Stardust. Wow. I know about what you're going through. You got nothing to lose. But in actuality, you got so much to lose. What happens if you fail again? You can only look inward. You're a leader of the group here. Are you going to run down your team? Then Chad Gable just erupts. Enough! Don't talk like you know me. If I didn't have this suit on, I'd whoop your ass. Cody then kind of smirks, says, what? Whoop my ass? I'm going to talk to Aldis about this whole situation. In the meantime, go put your boots on. We're going to go one-on-one. Holy cow. Alright, so I I'm going to kind of explain what I think is going on with WWE. So right now, they have a couple of brands going on. You got Raw on Monday, SmackDown on Tuesday, NXT on Tuesday. Friday, SmackDown on Friday. So I think what this transfer window is much like the transfer portal in college football, where like a backup can enter the portal and go to another team. Like, I think there was a kid that went from like Georgia to Alabama, where he was a backup in Georgia, then he started in Alabama. Or maybe it was the other way around. I forget. I don't really follow college football that closely. I think that's what's going on here. It's probably going to be like a draft without calling it a draft. And we're going to see, talent traits. And as for this promo, oh boy, did that get personal. Especially Cody Rhodes bringing up Chad Gable's previous gimmick, Shorty G, which was the dumbest thing maybe ever. It's like, oh, I'm short. I'm actually Shorty G. I hated the Shorty G gimmick. But then Cody bringing up Stardust, the gimmick that had Cody Rhodes leave the WWE and go start AEW with the Bucks and Kenny. Okay. Like, I love this stuff. The details. The referencing previous stuff. I love this stuff. This is great. It's in depth. And now it feels like maybe Chad Gable can get one over on Cody. Anyway, so then we were supposed to get a sit-down interview with Kevin Owens, but he sends a video message from his phone inside his car, where he says, "I got so much on my mind, but that's not good for you, Cody." So we'll see what happens with that later, because it's honestly kind of cool. Then we see Naomi and Bianca Belair backstage, with Bianca saying, "Look, we got past War Games now. I'm going to focus on who took out Jade. Naomi, you got to focus on this triple threat." Naomi leaves. Green and Nevin come in, with Green saying, "Oh, this whole thing is a mystery, but the great Bianca Belair is on the case. Oh, and one of the reasons you can focus on it now is because you lost in the tournament to me." Bianca snaps back, "Oh, you're the one to talk. You can't win without Piper Niven." Piper then chimes in, "Well, look here. There's two of us, one of you." And then Nevin and Green take out Bianca. Well, not take out, but they beat her up. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going on with Bianca and Jade. Because there's a lot of different reports going on. Like I see, oh, it's actually not a fake injury, not a real injury, but they wanted to write her off TV for whatever reason. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's an actual injury, she's going to be out for X. They're going to take away the tag titles. Vacate the tag titles. So, I don't 100% know what's going on with that situation, but this story is getting interesting. So, yeah. Then we go to our next matchup, as it's for the first round matchup of the United States Women's Title Tournament, as we got Tiffany Stratton taking on Naomi, taking on Elektra Lopez. And I'm going to say this. I love Naomi. I love Tiffany. Elektra Lopez showed out tonight. Much like how B-Fab showed out in her match. She could hang. And honestly, I haven't seen Elektra Lopez wrestle, like, ever. So this was a nice surprise that she could bring it. Including Naomi with a big old blue thunder bomb, only for 2. Hits the X Factor, but then out comes Candice LeRae, who distracts Naomi. Tiffany with a reverse DDT. Naomi with a split-legged moonsault, only for a 2 count. Misses on the Swanton Bomb. Then Tiffany with the prettiest moonsault ever to pick up the win. Yeah, that seemed right to me. So we got our next round matchup set, which is going to be coming this Friday. Definitely excited for these. Then we go backstage and we see a whole gaggle of backstage hands. And we see that the Street Profits have been taken out. So then we see Nick Aldis. He's walking down the hall a little bit. And he runs into Johnny Gargano and the Motor City Machine Guns. The Guns still want to defend their titles. Gargano saying DIY can step in. Guns like, hey, that's good with us. It's good with you. Then Aldis turns to Gargano, says, tell Tommaso Ciampa to don't make me regret this. Yeah, I think he's going to regret it. Minor spoiler alert. So, next up, a very interesting match. It's very weird that they went with this match so fast, as it's Bianca Belair going one-on-one with Piper Niven. And honestly, this was maybe a little bit short of a Haas fight, but this was definitely a really good matchup. Including Piper missing on a cannonball a couple times. Bianca hitting a massive spine buster. Hitting a spear only for a 2 count. She goes for like a middle rope KOD, but that gets blocked. Bianca tries for a Rana. That gets blocked into a Piper Driver, which, great name for a finish. Only for a 2. Then Green gets up on the apron. Bianca forces her into the ring. And she's out for a little bit. With Bianca hitting the KOD on Piper Niven. Onto Chelsea Green, who's laying in the middle of the ring, to pick up the win. This match was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this match. Nice little TV match to showcase, honestly, 2 women who really, well, maybe Bianca doesn't really need it, but I feel like this was a nice showcase. We then get like a backstage Shinsuke Nakamura vignette promo with the captions on, which I love that they're having him speak his native tongue in promos. Not to say he's bad at English, but that was pretty cool. We then get a little recap of the Women's War Games match. Then we see Bianca Belair backstage. She runs into Naomi, saying, that felt good to get my hands on both of them. I'm just tired of Tiffany and Candice getting in our business. But we got lots to choose from. And when I find out who took out Jade, it's on sight. Ooh, okay. Dang. Next up, we have Shinsuke Nakamura coming out to the ring. He was going to cut a promo. Out comes LA Knight, saying, you stand here looking at the sorriest example of a U.S. champ. You're not the real deal. You're holding something that belongs to me. I want my rematch. I want it now. He gets in the ring. He says, here's the deal. This guy hasn't done anything but cheap shot me since he got mad. Then, since he got back. But now I got my mist blockers on. He puts on his sunglasses, which I absolutely love that. And he continues, I get what I want, and I make sure you get stomped out. Then out comes Andrade, saying, I'm here for Nakamura. I got unfinished business. LA Knight then responds, I'm here for him right now. He's in debt, and I'm here to collect. Then, as soon as he says that, 3 members of the Bloodline come out and attack the babyfaces, so that's Knight and Andrade. Then they surround Nakamura. Nakamura gets in a fighting stance. You see a little bit of black mist dribble down his chin in a great visual. Nakamura then gets out of the ring. Solo Sikoa with a Samoan spike to Andrade. LA Knight fights back in a little bit, but then Solo with a spike to Knight. Alright, then Solo gets a microphone, says, to anyone who thinks the Bloodline is finished, weak, we dare you to step up. The Bloodline will lay your ass out. I'm tired of people thinking I'm a joke. Well, laugh all you want, because I'm still the tribal chief. I still got this. And anyone who wants some, do what you gotta do to acknowledge me. Okay, so, for one, we now got some clear challengers for Shinsuke Nakamura's title. Obviously, the rematch for Knight. Andrade's got unfinished business. And a little surprise in Solo. But I think that's fine for Solo's career. Get him away from the Bloodline stuff for a little bit. And, have him chase a title. So then we see DIY there in the back. With Gargano saying, I got the shot. Ciampa then chimes in saying, you think that fixes everything? Don't forget what I told you, because they're going to find out soon. We then get another in the car Kevin Owens video promo saying, hey, I got an idea. I feel about being interviewed by Cole, but I can't put it into words. It sucks. For some, it'd be some honor. Fine. But I'm not going in there. You want to interview me? Fine. Come find me. So Kevin Owens is out in the car park, sitting in his car, waiting to be interviewed. That is honestly brilliant. I little details like this rule. Then we get to our next matchup of the evening, and it's for the WWE Tag Team titles. As the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, take on DIY, that's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And it looks like it's Ciampa at first. He's maybe not dominating, but he's got Sabin on the ropes. Sabin then gets in. They do their double team dropkick thing. Only for 2. Tommaso Ciampa then gets up. Couple of cross chops. Tags in Johnny Gargano. Who then hits a couple of arm ringers on Shelley. But then Ciampa's like, no, don't. You gotta hit him. Tags himself in. Gets in, goes back to work on his opponents. Essentially making this match a 2-on-1. It's a reverse DDT. Goes for the fairy tale ending that gets blocked. Shelly then gets Sabin in. Big old crossbody, only for 2. Shelly then gets in with a couple of kicks. Knee drop, only for 2. Ciampa then rolls out to the outside of the ring. Gets a little cutter on the outside. Gets back in. Big neck breaker, only for 2. Johnny Gargano then tags himself in. So Ciampa and Gargano argue for a minute. They push each other. I thought Ciampa was going to leave, but he was actually getting a chair. Shelly with a roll-up, only for 2. Gets a face buster, tags in Sabin. Motor City Machine Guns go for Skull and Bones. That gets blocked. Ciampa then has the ref in his corner. Johnny Gargano with the low blow. Big old super kick. Then with a big smile on his face, tags in Tommaso Ciampa. They hit meet in the middle to pick up the win and the titles. Oh boy. I'm gonna say this. Am I a little disappointed about the shortness of the Guns title reign? Yeah, I'd say so. But this heel turn, oh my god, that worked. That worked so well. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And honestly, I thought they were going to break up DIY. But honestly, heel Gargano is so underrated. He's so good. Then, as we see that, we see Michael Cole leaving the announce desk, going to find Kevin Owens and where he's parked. Cut to commercial, come back. We see DIY, they're celebrating with their titles. In comes Candice LeRae, who is the real-life significant other of Johnny Gargano. I don't know if they're married yet. I don't want to assume. So, she gets in the celebration. She should have had her women's speed title, but whatever. It's fine. So then we see Michael Cole. He finds Kevin Owens' car, who is like right outside. Michael Cole pretty much says, "We're really going to do this interview in the car. Go on now." Owens opens the side passenger door, closes it, pretty much saying, "Come on now. You know how many times I showed up to the arena and didn't get let in? You're supposed to be unbiased. And when I first started, I was trying to get people to like me. How many times have you saw me get beaten from Roman? And then who left in 2016 to come back and he gets handed everything? Think I care what Jimmy and Jay do? Sammy, we'll get to that bridge later." Oh. "Cody was my friend and stabbed me in the back. What am I supposed to see? That I'm the problem? You know what? Get out of my car." So Michael Cole leaves this car. Owens puts it in the reverse and seemingly leaves. We'll get to that one a little later, but honestly, interview in a car? I think that's kind of a reference for a WWE Network show that, honestly, I absolutely loved, which was WWE Ride Along, if you will remember that. Basically, we saw superstars going, back to hotels from the arenas, which, honestly, I thought that was hilarious. So, nice little interview from Kevin Owens. We then see Gunther in the back, the World Heavyweight Champion. He's talking to Nick Aldis. Gunther then walks away. In walks Carmelo Hayes. They kind of acknowledge each other. Then Hayes turns to Aldis, says, "What's up? You got time for Raw, guys, but not for your number one pick?" Aldis says, "Is there something you need?" Mello then says, "Yeah, I need a challenge." And while Mello on Netflix sounds good, Aldis replies, "I would love nothing more than for you to be Adam Pearce's headache. But I've got an idea. I've got an opportunity for you. And I have someone just for you you'll face next week. Mystery opponent. I like it. And considering there's a pretty big free agent on the market right now, Miedo. That could be a very, very good opponent. Just saying." Anyway, we get to our main event as it's Cody Rhodes taking on Chad Gable. And this was a really, really good match. Gable focusing on Cody Rhodes' ankle, which I guess he heard during War Games. But, he did so many chop blocks. Went for a couple of ankle locks early on. Cody then hit a disaster kick. Goes for the power slam. That gets blocked. Gable with a Chaos Theory try. That gets blocked. Cody hits a Cody Cutter. Was going to go for the pin. But Julius Creed saves Chad Gable. Ref sees it. Throws the entirety of American Made out from ringside. Cody tries for a roll-up. Only gets 2 count. Gable then fights into an ankle lock. But Cody eventually gets out. Hits a Cody Cutter. Tries for a Crossroads. That gets countered into another ankle lock. But Cody makes it for the ropes. Cody tries for the Crossroads again. That gets blocked into a suplex. Gable goes for a moonsault. Completely whiffs. And then Cody Rhodes hits a Crossroads. But then we see with the winner being Cody Rhodes. But Cody cannot celebrate for long, as in the ring is Kevin Owens, as he attacks Cody, not by the front. Cody is laying on the mat, stomps on his ankle, which softening him up for the Saturday night's main event. They brawl for a bit. Officials are up for breaking it up. Cody then breaks through. Continues a beatdown of Owens. Owens with a big old dive to the outside. No, Cody with a big dive for the outside. Brawl continues for a little bit. Then officials get control and break things up. So, yeah, that was definitely a really, really good showing. And honestly, the story of Cody's ankle, let's see how that plays out, because I'm interested to see how that plays out. So that was WWE SmackDown. Overall, a very, very entertaining little show. But now we go across the way to AEW Rampage. We start off with the Blue League of the Continental Classic as Mark Briscoe takes on Kazuchika Okada. And oh boy, I think y'all gotta go see this match. This match was off the chain. Like move for move, block for block. Couple of times Mark Briscoe countered the Rainmaker. Mark hits the Froggy Bow, only for a 2. Tries a couple times for the J-Driller, only to get blocked. Mark with a big old pile driver to Okada. Eventually, Okada being able to hit the Rainmaker for the win for Okada. That was so much fun. That was a great opening bout for the Continental Classic. We then get an in-ring Chris Jericho promo, in which he was actually on commentary for that match, which, low throwback to when Jericho would do that. Gets in the ring. He says, on Ring of Honor, I issued a challenge for final battle for anyone from New York. And I got interrupted by Matt Cardona. And Matt, you don't touch my hat. Luckily, I didn't hit you where you stood. Cardona, if you were here, you don't know what I do. Then, of course, out comes Matt Cardona, who's always ready, boy. And he says, you and I finally battle. And the way I live, I'm always ready. And I'm not the same kid you met 15 years ago. We're on my turf. And it's all about proving myself right when I beat you. Jericho replies, let me make something clear. I respect all you've done. You've made a name for yourself on the independents, and I give you much respect. But it's funny, after all you've done, you're still just Zack. Jericho then slaps Cardona a little bit. Cardona fights back with a bunch of strikes. Then out comes Brian Keith. We have a 2-on-1 beatdown, including Jericho using the title belt as a weapon. So, nice setup for final battle. That should be a fun one, honestly. We then get a Continental Classic recap of the matches that happened on Wednesday. Then we go into the Gold League, as we have the Beast Mortis taking on Daniel Garcia. This was honestly classic power versus technical skill. At first, it was a little awkward, but eventually, they just went mile a minute. Like, Mortis is way athletic than you think. Near the end, Mortis goes for the moonsault. That misses. Garcia tries for a roll-up, only gets a 2. Chop, couple of chops, couple of strikes. Big old headbutt from Mortis. But then Garcia with the takedown and the roll-up. And your winner, Sir Daniel Garcia. I'm a little sad Mortis had to lose here, but I think we're definitely building up for something. We then get a hype video for Collision, and honestly, whoever's doing the hype videos and the recap videos, I think deserves a raise, because these are absolutely phenomenal. Then we get this weird little matchup, as it's the Vendetta, so that's Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie, taking on Ella and someone else. I didn't quite get their names. I'm sorry. Taya starts off with some strikes, tags in Purrazzo, chops, bunch of strikes. Little takeover, block of a suplex, big kick, splash. Taya gets in, hits the big knees, big chops. Purrazzo comes in. Taya with a power bomb, and Purrazzo with the armbar for the win for the Vendetta. This honestly felt like a, let's fill time with this match. And don't get me wrong, I like a good squash match, but this was so awkward. Like I don't know. This felt a little weird. And then we got our main event for Rampage, and it's back to the Blue League for the Continental Classic, as Ricochet took on Commander. And honestly, MVP in this match. I love Ricochet as much as the next guy. MVP was absolutely Commander. He absolutely showed out in this match. There were a couple times I thought he was going to win, but eventually Ricochet gets the victory with the Spirit Gun, aka his version of the Hidden Blade. So, yeah. I do hope eventually, after the Continental Classic, Commander gets a more sustained push. Because he's honestly fantastic. So that was AEW Rampage. A nice little show I really enjoyed. Except for that Vendetta match. That was weird. And then we finally finish up the week with AEW Collision. Get another look at the Continental Classic matches from this past week, including Rampage. So we go into the Gold League as it's Darby Allin taking on Commander. That's right, Commander back-to-back nights. And this, honestly, what Ricochet and Commander did on Rampage, Darby Allin and Commander stepped up tenfold in this match. Like, this match was awesome. Like, going move for move, tit for tat. At one point, we saw a big old code red from Darby Allin, only for 2. At one point, we saw Commander going for a superplex. He gets pushed off the top, springs back up, and hits a Spanish fly off the top, only for a 2 count. Then a big old monkey flip off the apron. Commander gets Darby back in the ring, goes for the rope rocks shooting star press, misses. Darby Allin with the roll up to pick up the win. Yeah, I didn't see Darby losing that one either. But again, Commander being made to look so good. Oh, I hope he gets a push sometime soon, because he deserves it. Then we go backstage for a Konosuke Takeshita / Don Callis interview, with Don saying business is booming. We got a big old champion, and in walks Powerhouse Hobbs, who's saying, you gotta forgive me, but I want that, pointing to the international title. I almost called it the All-Atlantic title, its original name. Don Callis then kind of puts his hands on Hobbs' chest, saying, you deserve that shot. But we've got a lot of bookings all over the world, so why don't we call our people and we'll get back to you. But you definitely deserve a shot. So, yeah, Don Callis trying to avoid Powerhouse Hobbs. Makes Hobbs feel like a big deal, which he definitely needs. Next up, we got a arbitrary women's match, but this is for Wrestle Dynasty, which is, big multi-promotional show happening after Wrestle Kingdom, where it is the International Women's Cup tournament thing. I'm not really sure what to call it, but basically the women from the different promotions are going to be in a tournament which will crown a Women's Cup champion or whatever. So this qualifier is Serena Deeb taking on Willow Nightingale. And Deeb used to look work her technical style early on. Willow overpowers her. Willow tries for an arm drag early on. That misses. Into a roll-up from Deeb, only for a 2 count. Willow tries for the Babe with powerbomb, only for it to get blocked. Goes for a senton, misses. Deeb with a roll-up, only for a 2. Willow hits a white noise off the middle of the rope. Hits a couple of clotheslines. Hip attack. Big old spine buster, only for a 2. Tries again for the Babe with powerbomb, only for it to get blocked. Deeb fights back a little bit, but goes for a suplex, only for it to get blocked into a counter suplex by Willow. Serena Deeb goes for the Deeb Tox, only for it to be blocked into a power slam for a 2. Willow tries for a cannonball, whiffs. Deeb with a leg whip into the Deeb Tox for a 2. Deeb tries for a suplex, that gets blocked into the pounce, which I love that move. Right into the Babe with powerbomb to pick up the win for Willow. Honestly, I can't be mad about Willow Nightingale winning here. She is an effective babyface. So then we cut to backstage for a Thunder Rosa interview with her saying, "Yes, I beat both my opponents in this match, both Mia Shirakawa and Mariah May. I deserve this shot versus either one. Would be so much fun to beat you until you cry. This division is alive and well, and I'm gonna fight until I get my title back." We then get a Jay White versus Pac highlight package, in which that match was awesome, but also the after beatdown was pretty good, with the return of Orange Cassidy. We then hear from Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. They come out to the ring, and Mox says, "People want to talk. Let's talk. Let's talk about who doesn't want to be champ. They think they do, but they really don't. They're not ready to make the sacrifices necessary. None of them deserve to lay eyes on the title. Guys like Jay White, one hell of a wrestler, but Jay is a child. Hangman Adam Page, he is an insecure narcissist who played himself out of the title. And then there's Orange Cassidy. Not the guy who everyone hoped he was, and my only regret is leaving his skull intact." Dang. And I'm going to tell the world one time, business is full of talk. I mean what I say. But you piss me off one more time, I'll take you out permanently. Then out comes Orange Cassidy. He gets right into the ring, goes face to face with all the Death Riders besides Claudio. And he says, "I can live without being AEW World Champion, but I can't live with you as champion. So I'm going to do whatever it takes until you're not champion. And the only way I stop is if you kill me." So Cassidy then takes off his glasses, throws them at Mox. Takes off his denim jacket, throws it at Mox. Then Maria Shafir from behind hits Orange Cassidy with the case holding the AEW title. And this starts the big old Death Riders beat down in the ring, including a thumbs to the eyes from Jon Moxley, in which that was brutal. Then Death Riders toss him to the floor. Then you have Wheeler Yuta and Pac grabbing his arms and legs, and they bring him to the back. and we're gonna see what happens in a minute. Then we get a weird FTR promo saying we've been trying to be the best team, but at Fight for the Fallen, it's not about the gold. It's about fighting for those who lost. We lost in the Hurricanes, and we're going to spearhead Fight for the Fallen in. Then we hear some commotion off screen. Then we see the Death Riders. They're still beating on Cassidy. Maria Shavira, then with the Hurt Trucks, holding his mouth open. Moxley, as this squirt bottle of window cleaner, unscrews the cap, is about to pour it down his throat. Then FTR come around, stare them off. Then Moxley's like, well, okay, fellas. Then they leave through the side door. And, FTR then help Orange Cassidy up. I believe Cassidy and FTR did have a couple 6-man tags in the past. So, yeah, well, it does seem like the AEW frontline is getting some bigger names to their ranks. With both FTR, Jay White, maybe Hangman. So, things are picking up a little bit. Then we get this matchup. Oh boy, was this a fun one, as Kyle Fletcher takes on Kazuchika Okada in the Continental Classic Blue League. And this was pretty much a masterpiece. This was such a good little TV match. We had blow for blow, tit for tat. At one point, we see Okada and Fletcher come back in from the outside. Fletcher with a Randy Orton-style DDT. They fight back. Okada traps Fletcher in the Cobra Clutch, or a version of the Cobra Clutch. Fletcher fights out. Okada with a couple of scoop slams. Goes for the Rainmaker, misses. Hits beautiful drop kick. Fletcher rolls to the outside. Okada tries for a pile driver on the outside, but Fletcher blocks it into a suplex. Fletcher gets back in the ring. Okada beats the 10 count. Fletcher with a big old powerbomb, only for a 2 count. Okada gets up. It's a clothesline. Sets up for the Rainmaker. Misses. Fletcher with a big old super kick into a suplex. Then they kind of run into the ref a little bit. Not really bump the ref, but at least kind of get into his face a little bit more. Then Fletcher with the low blow, the brain buster, and your winner is Kyle Fletcher, the absolute leader in the Blue League, absolutely dominating. I know a lot of people are having a little issue with this matchup, but Fletcher's a bad guy. He's going to cheat. We then see a card rundown of Winter is Coming, which is coming on Wednesday. I definitely miss these TV specials. They're so good. Next up, a non-Continental Classic matchup as the Beast Mortis takes on Aaron Solo. It's pretty much a squash match with Mortis hitting a Ripcord Lariat to pick up the win. Yeah, it not really a dynamic squash match, but enough to keep the Beast Mortals a little hype. Then we see backstage, it's Top Flight, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti, along with Layla Gray. They're being interviewed. Layla Grace starts off. You want to explain what that was in the Dynamite Battle Royal? Action Andretti then responds, how about me? It was a battle royal. It was every man for himself. Dante chimes in, says, we were aware it's every man for themselves. We were supposed to win gold as a team. Then Lio Rush chimes in, saying, well, we talked about it. We feel like we could go for the tag team titles ourselves. And this was just exactly what we needed to happen. They start arguing a little bit. Layla Gray says, enough. You guys really want to fight? Let's not do it here. Let's settle this in the ring. So, full top flight implosion. I dig it. I like where this is going. And Lio Rush, Action Andretti partnership. I could get behind that. Then we get a very interesting little matchup, as it's Mina Shirakawa from Stardom taking on Emi Sakura. Definitely been a while since I've seen Emi Sakura, who post bell ringing throws her jacket at Mina. Eventually the bell does ring. Eventually Mina, Emi gets Mina in a sleeper hold, but Mina gets out. It's a couple of drop kicks, goes for the glamorous bomb, but only for it to be blocked into a bunch of chops, and a big old neck breaker, only for 2. Mina fights back after a middle rope sling blade, but that only gets 2. Emi fights back. Then the ref just kind of stands in the way for a minute. Mina hits the middle rope sling blade to pick up the win. So, interesting little matchup. Definitely good to see Emi Sakura back. And, hypes up Mina for her title match. And speaking of a nice little hype video for Mina Shirakawa versus Mariah May for Winter is Coming. Again, whoever's doing these videos, these hype videos, needs a freaking raise. Then we get a backstage interview not only with Mark Briscoe, but with Daniel Garcia as well. With Briscoe starting off. This time is tough for a lot of people. And while I'm a little disappointed in myself with not getting points in the Continental Classic, I'm applying myself. Then Garcia turns to him and says, look, there's no hard feelings, but I need this W. But that's what I love about you, Mark. When you get knocked down, you get up. But I'm going to have to knock you down so I can keep up with Fletcher. Then we get to our main event of the evening, as we get Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia in the Blue League of the Continental Classic. And this was a fun-ass match. This was so good. Really good back and forth. Started off a little slowly with some basic stuff. But eventually, Mark Briscoe got into it. Big baseball slide, big old dive, suplex off the apron, elbow drop off the apron, a little bit of redneck kung fu, which I always love. Garcia trying for a superplex, but that gets blocked. And they strike each other so bad that they both fall up the top rope to the floor. They get back in the ring and just start chopping each other. Mark Briscoe with a bit of a low bridge. and then an elbow drop off the apron. Back in, couple of clotheslines, and couple of suplexes, only for 2 count. Mark tries for a Death Valley driver, only for it to get blocked. Garcia trying for a suplex, only for a block. A DVD, big old clothesline, into the Froggy Bow, but that gets blocked. Garcia with a pile driver, only for a 2 count. Garcia tries for the pile driver again, that gets blocked. Briscoe with an elbow, into a Froggy Bow, only for 2. Mark tries for a J-Driller, that gets blocked into a roll-up for 2. They get back out, trade strikes and chops, into a suplex. Then Mark Briscoe with a burning hammer, which is like a reverse F5, to pick up the win, which is very, very interesting. It's his first 3 points this early on in the Classic. And post-match, you see Mark Briscoe get down on Daniel Garcia's level, and they share a little handshake as a show of respect to end our week. So, yeah, definitely a very, very interesting week of pro wrestling. Everything feels like it's really going really well. I'm loving the Continental Classic. Stories being told in both AEW and WWE. It's definitely a really good time to be a wrestling fan, despite the discourse online. And yeah, that's it from me. I hope you all enjoyed. I got my predictions for Saturday night's main event coming on Wednesday. We'll see if we have our 5th match announced by then. Probably not going to watch it live on Saturday because I might have some plans. Probably going to end up watching it on Sunday, maybe reviewing it next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that one. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.